So everybody's playing this game called Flappy Bird, and you want to get better at it because, let's face it, this is a fucking hard-ass game. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get better at Flappy Bird. Tip number 1. Control. You need to know how to control Flappy Bird. Knowing how hard to press and how soft to press is key to getting a higher score. You also need to know how to drop Flappy Bird. For example, here's a drop and a recovery. Drop, recovery. Drop, recovery. Tip number 2. There's a rhythm to the game. Bounce, bounce. 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 Tip number 3. Stay as close to the lowest pipe as possible. You don't want to get too close to upper pipe because that'll mean you'll have a higher chance of actually hitting the pipe and dying. Tip number 4. Ignore the high score. It's there to distract you. Don't look at it. Focus on getting to the next pipe. Tip number 5. Always plan ahead. What you want to do is look at the pipe that you need to clear next. That way you know whether to ascend or descend and to give yourself enough room to do so. Tip number 6. Find a comfortable spot to tap. You don't want to tap in the middle of the screen because then you're covering the graphics. So at the bottom is a very good place to start. Tip number 7. Turn the volume off. The game makes a little clinking sound every time you clear a pipe, and that can be a little distracting. Tip number 8. Use as little taps as possible. You don't need to tap a lot in order to get through the pipes. Actually, the fewer the taps, the better your movement and control will be. Tip number 9. Use 2 hands. It'll give you more balance and steady your taps. That way you're not shaking all the time. And if that fails, well, you can always use the bigger iPad version or a bigger smartphone and play on that. That way you have a bigger screen and you get a better grasp of where the hit points are. Tip number 10. Practice. Practice a lot. Like all games, you can't get a high score without practicing. And practice makes perfect. So, you're going to have to play a lot of games. Tip number 11. Remain calm. The key to beating Flappy Bird, or getting a high score in Flappy Bird rather, is to remain calm and relax. That way, you can get a higher score. And you won't overpress. Lastly, remember, Flappy Bird is just a game. You don't need to take it so seriously. If you lose, you lose. You'll come back and try it another day and get a higher score next time. I usually find out that I get my high scores when I'm not trying to get a high score. So those are just some tips on how to get a high score in Flappy Bird. I hope that it helps. If you like this video, add it to your favorites, give it a thumbs up, share it to Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. Also try to beat my high score of 29, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.